Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Recruit Review. Steven Ostentoski here of MGoFish, bringing you episode 9. Today we're covering 4-star defensive end out of Port Huron, Michigan, Braiden McGregor. First of all, you guys have killed it on episode 8, already reaching 75 likes, so 2 episodes this week is on the docket. If we hit 75 likes for this video, I'll get that episode 10 out by Thursday. I'll commit to that. Thanks for everyone who's participated in that, liking and subscribing. I really appreciate it. Poll is right up here for your vote for future videos, who you want to see. Make sure you add a comment below if one of the options there does not fit who you want to see for those next episodes. I read all the comments. Make sure you get them in there. I appreciate all of your guys' suggestions. Thanks to these fellows for your Braiden McGregor suggestions. I'll make sure to feature your suggestions if I choose to do them upcoming in the next episodes. Let's get into Braiden McGregor here. So he went to Port Huron Northern High School, coached by Larry Rollins. He had a 6-1 record and share of the conference title as a senior. He got hurt after those first 7 games. He tore his MCL, PCL, and meniscus. Ouch. Notable that he was on the path of recovery to be ready by spring practice. Obviously, COVID had other plans, but helpful that he was an early enrollee at Michigan to help with that rehabilitation of those tears. He was a 3-year starter at Port Huron Northern High School, 3-year starter, 2-year captain. He played both tight end and defensive end, as well as some linebacker in there as well. He was also a basketball and hockey player. There's a couple hockey players from this high school committed to Michigan and some of his good friends there as well. And finally, he didn't actually start playing defensive end till his junior season, so you'll see that he's still a little raw in some of those areas. All right, let's put his stats up on the screen here. So remember, senior year, he only played 7 games, so his stats for that, 32 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. His junior year is the full year, 99 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 picks. He also set the school record for 227 career tackles, so he had a pretty standout performance throughout his high school years. I'll throw up his metrics on the screen now, 5.0640, which is good but not elite usually. You'll see defensive ends in the elite, maybe 4.7s, 4.8s. 5.06, not bad, but not at that elite level. His shuttle is very good at 4.69. It'd be about middle of the pack for 2020 defensive ends in the NFL Combine. Again, not standout, but very solid. And vertical of 27.9. This is kind of a, I don't really care, but it's listed, so I'll throw it up there as well. All right, looking at his ratings. So Rivals have him as a 4-star. They don't have him as a national ranking. 17 strong side defensive end and 11th in the state of Michigan. They are by far the outlier here. Both ESPN and 247 are way higher on him. They both also have him as a 4-star. ESPN as high as 32nd nationally, number 2 strong side defensive end in the 2020 recruiting class, and number 2 in Michigan. 247 did have him around that range, around 28 nationally before his injury. Other people started rising. He dropped because of this injury. 121 nationals where he stands, number 4 strong side defensive end and number 2 in the state of Michigan. Add all those together and he's just around 120 in the national for the 247 composite, number 5 strong side defensive end, number 2 in the state of Michigan. All services have him as 6'6", 250, 260. ESPN is a little bit behind at 6'5", 230. He's listed at around 250 on Michigan's roster right now at 6'5". All right, looking at his recruitment. So he was a obviously highly sought after guy. He attended a ton of camps. He was named the alpha dog of the Cincinnati Under Armour camp. He was very close to winning the same title at the opening regional, Nike opening. He had tons of visits to the likes of Clemson, Bama, LSU, Florida, Notre Dame, obviously Michigan. Michigan was in pretty early here. Madison leaving opened the door for Notre Dame. Lots of Notre Dame media were projecting him to commit to the Irish. And then a couple weeks later, he commits to McGregor. I'll actually throw up a clip of his commitment real time here. That was on Twitter. I'll throw that up right now.
Wait. Oh, you gotta go in the middle. One sec. First I want to say you guys. I'm a Wolverine. I'm staying home. No!
Come on, man! You know it, man! Let's go!
So Sean Nua, the new defensive line coach after Madison, really helped close that door, and it's an impressive closing for him there. So Florida State, LSU, Miami, Notre Dame, Penn State, OSU, pretty much rest of the Big Ten as well. Notably, Alabama and Clemson both offered. They preferred him as tight end. We'll get into that into his film and scouting a little bit later. But those are legit offers as a tight end more so than a defensive end. All right, moving on to scouting. So tall, perfect frame, long arms, and well muscled. That's something that really stands out. He's a large human being, and he can still put on a little bit of weight. So he has the prototypical frame that you're looking for that position. He can still grow into it. Very good athlete. So his redirection is really great. His pursuit is very solid. Great closing speed that kind of goes with that good athleticism. He has great ability in space. So his change of direction is really impressive. Great motor. Initial quickness is solid. Good change of directional skills, as I mentioned, and a violent hitter. And he's very versatile. So in the film we'll get to, he played stand-up defensive end, so kind of like a weak side, strong side defensive end as well, linebacker, tight end, all around just really good athlete. You can play him all over the place. Right now his skill set might be better suited for weak side defensive end, but his size says strong side defensive end, and that's really where he's projected. A couple of improvements in his scouting: needs more violent hands, a more versatile pass rush move skill set. Still working on technique and improving his pad level. So most of those things will come with time. This is kind of going back to the rating, but Rivals was extremely down on him for some reason. I'll show some clips a little bit later on why I think that is the case, but their rating and their scouting of him appears to be more outdated than anything else. All right, let's move on to his film. All right, this first section is focused on hits, and let's take this first clip to pray for that quarterback. Oh my God, how he doesn't die is insane to me. Thing that stands out here is he's affecting people with his hits. Obviously not the best competition level here, but even if it doesn't seem like he's moving all that quick, he is really ragdolling people here. Violent nature in his hits. He doesn't sacrifice his form as a part of that. So even though these guys are really getting affected as a part of these hits, he's still wrapping up well, bringing them down with pretty good form and really driving people into the ground. So he brings a lot of explosiveness with his hits. That's probably my favorite aspect of that, where violent hands, violent wraps, and he brings them down very well. Next section, just a couple clips here on pursuit. Love to see him operate in space. Athleticism at 6'6" with his size is pretty scary. He moves very well. His top end speed is good. That 5.06 40 time, not elite, but still good. Deployed very frequently as stand-up defensive end or linebacker for this skill. Good angle on the line of scrimmage on these backside plays that I really like. A couple clips here on acceleration. So short area burst is one of my favorite skills of his. Again, once he's on his path, he gets moving very quickly. Very quick in the backfield once he has a straight line path to the quarterback, but he can also laterally change his direction excellently. So he's very quick in the backfield once he gets past that offensive line. This last hit, man, this poor QB just gets absolutely obliterated on this pass. Brings me to the next section here, pass rush. So he can improve his hands here a bit. He does have an effective jump swim move that I'll show a couple clips from the camp setting that he deployed quite a bit. And he does really well to get up in the air at the time of the pass, really get in the way of those balls. I want to see more of a bull rush from him, use that frame effectively. He's more using his speed than his strength right now. That will come. Added strength, added technique, that'll get there. His lateral quickness is excellent. He has the tools to really build a dangerous set of pass rush moves to his arsenal. It's just a matter of time. But you can see that jump kind of swim move is something he deploys frequently, and he's able to bend around the edge very well. So I think just variety will go a long way with him once he learns that. Then I just have one clip here of kind of a defensive athleticism interception here where, he shows good hands. We'll get to that in the offensive bit as well. So like I said, Alabama and Clemson were offering him as a tight end, and we'll see here good burst off of this kickoff. This poor kicker gets stiff-armed into oblivion, and he's gone. So I can see why a lot of teams want to deploy him as a tight end. These first few clips really display his fidelity as a pass catcher. So not only does he show really good hands, but body awareness along the sideline here. Catches very well away from his frame. We saw in that first clip when on the run, he has a really great stiff arm. That's pretty persistent throughout the film I saw here. He's able to go up and get the ball, jump and high point the ball in the air. His 40 time of 5.06 would be a bit slow for tight ends. Usually you're looking for around 4.7s or so for those elite times. But again, his ball skills make up for that quite a bit with that 6'6 frame, 260, comfortable in space, and a major plus at catching the ball. That's a really good path for a Power 5 tight end. I think he has a higher floor right now, given those natural skills as a tight end, higher ceiling as defensive end, once he learns that technique. Showing some clips here of blocking. His hand placement, again, could be improved here. I think that's kind of common from offensive and defensive point of view. But he blocks with a mean streak. He's not afraid to block through the whistle, really plant guys, transition blocks from one to the next, and block them out of the end zone right there. It's clear he needs some coaching here on his technique just from both defensive and offensive blocking and hand placement there. But he's driving people. He has the right mindset and would have a great frame for it. Finally, for his film, some negatives here. So these first couple clips are from a Rivals camp back in 2018. So this is old footage, and this is probably why Rivals has him ranked so low. So he's very slow out of the break here, right? Not a very explosive get off, and he's very undersized. You can see he's very lanky here. This makes sense, but I think Rivals is still outdated, but those two clips don't really show a whole lot. These next clips are a couple losses, I would say, in the camp setting, but still, I think just improved hands, improved technique. I like what he's trying to do here, just needs to add some strength, add some technique, pair up that footwork with his hands, and he's a really intriguing prospect. So it's more technique and frame and filling that out more than anything else that he displays. All right, so my comp here, it's kind of cheating, but it seems like he's just Aiden Hutchinson with maybe a higher ceiling. So very much cut from the same cloth. Aiden Hutchinson obviously is going to be the starting anchor for Michigan this year, strong side defensive end. He was 6'6", 260 out of high school, prototypical anchor as well, right around 100 in the composite, so pretty similar ranking both out of Michigan as well. Good athleticism, a frame to fill out once he got to Michigan. I think McGregor is further along in that regard, but he has those injuries, so there's different kind of things to develop or to strengthen once they get to Michigan. So excellent motor for Aiden Hutchinson, good leverage, played multiple positions. For Hutchinson, it was actually on the offensive line, so you could have a better athlete here with Braiden McGregor. I think you do, but they both kind of had that versatility in high school. My projection for Braiden McGregor here. So already at 260 with that frame, you're pretty close to being plain weight for anchor, maybe an extra 5-10 pounds redistribution of that weight, fill out a little bit more. Even though he is ready to be there, I think there's three things that lead me to think he's a redshirt lock. Number one, Hutchinson and Pay already at defensive end. Number two, technique is a thing that he has to build up, especially with use of his hands. And three, defensive linemen as freshmen, true freshmen at least, are very hard to make an impact. So I think the roster as itself right now, it lends itself well to a redshirt. I think add in his injury, and that's another thing to just ensure he's 100% with that added technique, added frame, and I think a redshirt will do very well for him. Right now, behind Aiden Hutchinson, you have Taylor Upshaw, who's kind of an unknown redshirt junior. I still have a very high hopes for his impact. Mike Morris was kind of an unknown, high 3-star. He's a redshirt sophomore now. He's another guy we haven't seen a whole lot of. And then you have McGregor. So after 2020, going into 2021, it's really up for grabs. I would say between Upshaw and McGregor, I'd expect Upshaw to kind of have that, but McGregor should be a part of that rotation moving forward. Weak side defensive end isn't really an option for two reasons. I don't think it's best for McGregor's skill set, and you have a pretty crowded room right now with Kwity Paye, Luigi Villain, Gabe Newberg, and David Ojabo. So anchor is clearly where he's destined right now, and I think 2021 onward, you can see him make an impact. 2022, I'd expect him to be starting, honestly, as a redshirt sophomore. All right, guys, that's it. Hopefully, I shed some light here on Braiden McGregor. Very excited for the promise he has. Great athlete at the strong side defensive end. Hopefully, he can get over those injuries, get over those hurdles, and come on strong moving forward. So let me know again in the comments who you guys want to see. I appreciate all the likes. Remember, 75, and I'll get another episode 10, out by Thursday of this week. Beyond that, guys, hope you guys have a great Memorial Day. Stay safe out there. Wash your hands. And as always, go blue.